she was being childish and petulant. In all truth, she had no intention of avoiding her birthday party. She had never been cruel, and that would have been very cruel indeed, to fail to appear after the entire family had come together. It was a whimper, she admitted that to herself, underlining the fact that she had always despised whimperers. But in this case, a plea to Sam to see her, remember her, beg her. But he would look at her in astonishment if she told him that he had forgotten her. The whole world had forgotten her, or she had forgotten the whole world. That would simply evoke more astonishment. How could she explain what had happened inside herself? Carla was being sweet. She could be endearing when she put herself to it. She embraced Barbara, unusual, and told Sam, "You drive, Doc. Barbara and I share the back, and I have things to tell her. And you look absolutely beautiful," she told Barbara, who was wearing a jacket of pale gray linen over a white silk blouse, a suit that would have fitted her just as neatly 30 years before. She had kept her figure. She had kept her firmness of body. "You're not going to let your hair go white," Carla added. Barbara wondered whether she was aware of her habit of taking with one hand as she gave with the other. There were pale streaks in Barbara's honey-colored hair, but it was far from white. In the car, driving across the Golden Gate Bridge on their way to the Napa Valley, Carla said to Barbara, "I've been holding this because I'm just about ready to explode with it, and I'm not going to pretend to be cool. They've given me the part of Annabella. Finally, and it's a special showcase thing, 6 weeks at the center. Can you imagine, Barbara? Annabella! Back a bit. It's wonderful, of course, but Annabella what?" "John Ford's play," Sam said from the driver's seat. "'Tis pity she's a whore. Annabella's the lead part. You know, Mother falls in love with her brother." "I know the play," Barbara said. "In fact, we did it 100 years ago at Sarah Lawrence." "Oh, no fear," she assured Carla. "I did not do the role of Annabella. No, I played a nurse or something of the sort. There is a nurse in it, isn't there?" "There is." "Carla, I think it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's what you've been working for, isn't it? And at the center. When is the opening?" Mollified, Carla informed her that there would be 6 weeks of rehearsal, with an opening just after New Year's. "Of course, nobody does 'Tis Pity the way it was written. Ford was no Shakespeare, you know, and parts of the original script are sheer confusion. Our director, Stan Lewis, is rewriting and restructuring." And thus she went, on and on. Barbara listened, trying to nod appropriately, and listen and then look past her to the green hills of Marin County. It was about 2 years since she had been out to the Highgate Winery in the Napa Valley, a place bound up and threaded through with the lives and memories of the two families that had their beginnings in the partnership of her father, Dan Lavette, and Mark Levy, and it was disturbing to be without any feeling of anticipation. For most of her adult life, the Napa Valley and the old winery that Jake Levy had purchased following his discharge from the Army after World War I had been a sort of a glowing garden in Barbara's mind. Not that she spent much time there. Its existence was enough, a place she could reach for when she was weary or when she had looked too much at the rest of the world. But this had changed. Boyd had died, and everything had changed. The world turned gray. For 3 weeks, she left her home only to buy the few things she needed to survive. She had been subject to depression in the past, and knowing this, her brother Joe had warned her in very careful medical terms that, in a manner, she was committing suicide. "Do you actually want to die?" he had asked her, exercising, as Barbara thought, the physician's right to ask any question, no matter how intimate or demeaning. She was more provoked than such a question demanded. "Don't be a fool." "I think I can guess," Joe said, in that very gentle manner that he took with his patients, "where the guilt comes from. You're so ridden with guilt, Barbara." "You don't know what you're talking about." "Maybe." "Guess. I don't give a damn." She would forget that he was half Chinese, her brother Joseph, her half-brother actually, born out of their father's second marriage to a Chinese woman named Mei Ling. And then he would suddenly look so very Chinese, in spite of his great bulk, 220 pounds and 6 feet 2 inches tall. It made her smile. Anger at Joe Lavette. No one was angry with Joe. How could you be angry with a large, intelligent St. Bernard dog? "You've been reading statistics. Married men less subject to heart attack. Statistics are a marvelous substitute for mind, but the fact of the matter is that Boyd had been walking around with a bad heart, a very bad heart, for years. If you had married